I started this thought thinking of God doing the impossible, or the impossible becoming possible, but before we do that, there is a truth we must establish. Yes, the Bible was written by 40 different men over the span of 1,500 years. But as believers, we believe the Word is the inspired Word of God. I want to use a teacher whose view of the Bible changed everything I believed. Chuck Missler. He was well known for his microcodes theory, the idea that the Bible isn't just a collection of books, but an integrated message system where even the smallest details are deliberate. When he spoke about the Word, he would say that even dots and tittles were significant. He was actually referencing the words of Jesus. For truly I tell you, until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, not the least stroke of a pen, by any means will disappear from the law until everything is accomplished. Matthew 5 verse 18. The jot and the tittle. In the original Hebrew context Missler loved to dive into. The jot. Yod, this is the smallest letter in the Hebrew alphabet. It looks almost like an apostrophe or a floating dot. This refers to the tiny decorative crowns or serifs on certain Hebrew letters, like the difference between a dalet and a resh. One tiny stroke changes the entire letter, and therefore the word. Missler focused on this because Chuck Missler's background as a systems engineer and corporate executive heavily influenced his theology. He treated the Bible like a digital code. He often argued that for the integrity of the text, if God is infinite, his software, the Word, must be error-free down to the pixel. He believed things like equidistant letter sequences, Bible codes, and the structure of genealogies proved the text was extraterrestrial, originated from outside our time-space domain. The equidistant rule, he often said, the Bible is the only book that has its author's signature on every page if you know how to look for it. What a fascinating way to look at the text, treating it less like a dusty old book and more like a precious high-density data file. If we hold to these ideas that the text was given to men by God, then we most certainly believe everything that is written within the text to be true, even the ones that seem impossible. The Bible contains numerous accounts that defy the laws of physics and biology, often referred to as miracles. While impossible is a matter of perspective in a theological context, these three stories are frequently cited as the most scientifically and logically challenging. Joshua's long day. In the book of Joshua, chapter 10, it is recorded that during a battle against the Amorites, Joshua asked God to make the sun and moon stand still so the Israelites could finish the fight. For the sun to appear stationary from Earth's perspective, the Earth would have to stop rotating on its axis. The Earth rotates at approximately 1,000 miles per hour at the equator. A sudden stop would cause catastrophic inertia, sending oceans, mountains, and the atmosphere hurtling eastward at supersonic speeds. Jonah and the great fish. The book of Jonah describes the prophet being swallowed by a great fish and surviving inside its belly for 3 days and 3 nights before being vomited onto dry land. Beyond the sheer size required to swallow a human whole, the interior of a large marine animal is an environment of extreme pressure, digestive acids, and zero oxygen. A human would typically succumb to asphyxiation or chemical burns from gastric juices within minutes, making a 72-hour survival scientifically inconceivable without supernatural intervention. The parting of the Red Sea. During the Exodus, Exodus 14, Moses stretches out his hand, and a strong east wind divides the waters, creating walls of water on both sides and dry land in the middle for the Israelites to cross. While some researchers have modeled wind set-down, where wind pushes water back in shallow areas, the biblical description of vertical walls of water defies fluid dynamics. Moving millions of people across a seabed that remains dry, rather than deep, impassable mud, immediately after the water recedes adds another layer of complexity to the event. I can't explain how these and other impossible events in the Bible were possible. I believe them not to be stories, but actual history. A supernatural God made the impossible possible. Are you facing the impossible? Turn to Jesus and witness the possible. Part 1.